And welcome back into Phil Welch Stadium. Our apologies for some technical difficulties. Welcome back to the new stream. System crashed on us, but we will resume play here in the top of the 6th inning. No outs. It's Will Dyberg up to bat for the Monarchs. Max Pitts still on the mound. Pitts fires. He's going to slap a ball into right field. Trailing on it is Gall. Gall, a tough play to make. Looking to see if he caught the ball. Crashed into the wall over there. A tough play for Gall to make. Gall just now getting up. Looks like the ball did fall. Fans giving it up for a nice effort for Gall in right field. 2-1 count now to Dyberg. Two balls, one strike to Will Dyberg. Max Pitts with a nice 1-2-3 inning last inning. Gall still getting worked on, getting checked up by the coaching staff after he had a tough landing out in right field trying to make that catch on the foul line.
Those are ones that are never going to feel good. You know, that chain link fence down that right field line, just something that isn't going to feel good. Hopefully he can stay in the game, but it doesn't look like he will be able to.
Looks like coming in.
Have your attention, please. Thank you. Now playing right field for your St. Joseph Tenderloin. Number 7. From Washington University,
Trevor McCollum making his appearance in right field, taking over for Frank Gall. First pitch on 3-1 to Dyberg. After the substitutions have been made, we're back. Pitts 3-1 to Dyberg. Sets and delivers up high, and Dyberg gets walked once again.
Another one of the things, again, avoiding those free passes, especially as you get later and later into this game. When you start just more playing for one run, those leadoff walks can really hurt you.
Will Ford now on for the Monarchs. Dyberg on first, a little bit of speed. Pitts sets and fires to Ford, swung on and missed for strike one. No outs with the runner on first. Monarchs looking to break this tie. Pitts fires. Bunt shown, a nice bunt put on by third base. Felix over to first in time for out number 1, but it moves Dyberg over to second base. But Felix, a nice play on the bunt. Gets the first out of the inning for the Tenderloins.
A little bit of small ball here from the Monarchs, and it was a great idea. If that ball just came rocketing off the bat, he probably had a chance at a base hit. As it kind of surprised Felix over there at third, but Felix able to stay composed and make the play.
Looks like that bat just got underneath the ball a little bit, left it in the air a little bit too much. If you would have gotten a little bit on top of that, probably could have been safe because Felix didn't have too much room that he had to go. All in the dirt. Ball 1 to Ty White. Righty-lefty matchup, exactly what the Monarchs want on the card. With a runner in scoring position with only 1 out. Pitts sets and fires. Dyberg dancing around. Ball slapped to the left field side. That ball's going to go foul. Giving this count back up to 1 ball, 1 strikes. White calls time. Get some extra time to warm up in this big spot here for the Monarchs. Hits. 1 ball, 1 strikes. Fires. Ball foul tipped. Now 1-2 to White. White hit by pitch last time he was up to bat and struck out swinging in the second. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Ty White. Pitts, fires. Ball slapped out of play in the left field side. Count remains at 1-2. And that ball goes off in almost into center field. Luckily, Dyberg wasn't paying too much attention.
Well, lucky it was a dead ball, so
That is true.
wouldn't have mattered anyway.
That is true. One ball, 2 strikes to Ty White. Off speed slapped into right field. McCollum giving chase. He brings it in. Dyberg is going to advance 90 feet over to third base. But McCollum brings in the sharply lined Ty White. Fly ball in for the second out of the inning. And Pitts a little bit more room to breathe now with the runner on third with 2 outs.
You know, for McCollum, it's just one of those things where you get newly entered in the game, you're just trying to get warm, and the baseball just has a weird way of finding you, but it was a great read. First step was back, read it all the way. Like you said, now 2 outs, now Pitts, you know, not out of the woods yet. Runner is only 90 feet away, so he's got to continue to make good pitches.
Pitts to Messerschmidt. Messerschmidt got walked last time he was up. Pitts sets and fires. 1-0. Messerschmidt's going to hit the ball out of play on the first base side. Max Pitts, 1-1 to Cam Messerschmidt. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. Trying to keep this game tied at 5. He fires. Off speed, taken for strike 2. A big pitch there for Max Pitts. And now it's 1 ball, 2 strikes to Messerschmidt. The 1-2 pitch swung on and hit out of play by Messerschmidt, keeping this count alive. Hits. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Messerschmidt. He fires. Ball fouled off on the first base side. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. You know, right now, Truman, for the Monarchs, with a runner at 90 feet away, you're in a 2-strike appearance. You're Messerschmidt facing that righty-righty matchup. This is a tough spot for you.
I mean, it's a tough spot, but he keeps battling, and what we said is the more a batter keeps battling, the pressure goes more on the pitcher to continue to have to make good pitches and not make a mistake over the middle of the plate.
The 1-2 pitch up high brings the count back even. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, it's one thing. I was listening recently to a baseball broadcast. Really, the whole 2-2 count's not really even. So you're 1 strike away from a strikeout, 2 balls. Well, 2 balls away from a walk.
Right.
You know, the quantity of numbers is the same, but.
And it looks like the scoreboard out.
We had our count wrong anyway.
We had our count wrong anyway as well. That'll be a 4-pitch walk. No, we did not have our count wrong. Looks like he messed up, and it looks like it is going to be 3-2 on Messerschmidt. In his mind, he thought it was 3 balls. I could have sworn I had it right.
I was kind of surprised the home plate umpire didn't immediately say something. Like he just kind of went along with it.
Oh man.
So, like, little surprising because now the count is full, and technically, you know, the count in terms of baseball terms is even. But you know, it's always one of those fun things. You know, you hear that a lot of broadcasters say, and you're like, technically speaking, but. And that's always one of those things. You know, Messerschmidt thought he knew the count better. Might want to be careful. You never know, the umpire might try to just, ring them up a little bit. Maybe he can do it right here, get the Tenderloins out of the inning.
Pitts fires, swung on and missed. And Max Pitts leaves a runner stranded 90 feet away from home, and we are still tied at 5 runs apiece. Headed into the bottom of the 6th inning. The Tenderloins trying to get these bats heated up in the later half of the game. Max Pitts, a big strikeout. We're headed to the bottom of the 6th inning. You're watching Tenderloins baseball here on YouTube. And welcome back inside Phil Welch Stadium. Game tied apiece at 5 after the dice roll game. Me and Truman having a good laugh here going into the bottom of the 6th inning. And it's Justin George leading it off here for the Tenderloins.
Tenderloins have really not looked the same since that first inning when they put up 4 runs. Benefited from some errors, but I just feel like they got comfortable with that 5-1 lead, and then the grand slam happens, and now it's a tied ball game, and they're not looking the same. They're not being as aggressive, I feel, at the plate. They're thinking that D'Amico's just going to come to him, but he's really dominated.
Justin George grounds out over to Graham at short for the first out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And like you're mentioning, I mean, this is not the confidence level for the Tenderloins bats has not been there the last couple of innings since that first inning, scoring 4 runs. D'Amico has had his way with these Tenderloin hitters, and it's Chris Coy up to bat next for the Tenderloins. First pitch strike to the St. Joseph kid. D'Amico sets and fires. Down low, taken for ball 1. D'Amico, a quick delivery. Doesn't like to take too much time in between pitches. So he's already off in another one. 1 ball, 1 strike to Coy. Coy's going to put a nice drive into center field. Trailing on it is Johan, and he brings it in for the second out here in the bottom of the 6th. And Chris Coy continues his 0 for 2 night. Parker Griffith up next for the Tenderloins. Swung on and missed from D'Amico. D'Amico, a 1-2-3 last inning. In the inning before that, down low in the dirt for ball 1. So yeah, back-to-back 1-2-3 innings for D'Amico, really having his way like we just have been mentioning with these Tenderloin hitters. Down low and away for ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And the Tenderloins just haven't gotten anything going. 11 batters sat down in a row by D'Amico. The last time a Tenderloin reached was the triple by Dom Felix all the way back in the third.
And make that 12 batters in a row for D'Amico. 1, 2, 3, once again. Go the Monarchs. Hitless and scoreless are the Tenderloins at the end of 6. We're headed to the 7th inning of play. You're watching Tenderloins baseball here on YouTube. And welcome back into Phil Welch Stadium in the top of the 7th inning, still tied at 5. The Tenderloins make a pitching change going into the bullpen now. Pitching number 32, Diego DeSantiago. His first appearance here in this game, in this season. Last year's stats, a 1-0 record, 15 innings pitched, an ERA of 8.37, a whip 2.33. One of the better pitchers out of the bullpen for the Tenderloins, a guy they can really rely on to put the ball over the plate and get some quality outs in those innings. A high velocity kind of guy is DeSantiago. We'll be able to get to see him pitch for the first time in his 2025 campaign.
Yeah, he's really going to have to, build up his command. That's one of the things he struggled with last year. 15 strikeouts to 15 walks. Not a great ratio, and it's one of those things. Try not to get too cute. And right now, it just seems like if we're talking in terms of momentum, it just seems like the momentum's with the Monarchs. And, the Tenderloins, ever since that grand slam, they've just playing really passive and really lackadaisical out there, and they just really need to get back to playing their ball. A quick inning here from DeSantiago, get the bats back going and get some runs on the board.
Santiago's first pitch to Thorson, swung on and missed. That velocity we were just talking about from him. Pretty quick and getting at it. Thorson hit that grand slam back in the top of the 4th inning, tied this ball game up at 5. Santiago trying to get him off that batter's circle. Another strike. 2 quick strikes from DeSantiago to Thorson.
It's really Thorson's grand slam is why we sit here now. After 3 free passes, he walloped a grand slam. Again, just getting that leadoff out, especially again later and later we go. Getting the leadoff out is oh so important.
Outside, ball 1 to Thorson. DeSantiago still trying to work this count. One 1-0 last year on his record. Fouled ball off of the tip. If you guys just saw, Big T just made a bit of an appearance into the camera as it is Tenderloin night here in St. Joseph. And also Noah Cameron night to any of the new viewers. It's been a fun night honoring Royals pitcher and St. Joseph native Noah Cameron. Outside, called strike 3 on Drew Thorson into Santiago. 1 batter, 1 strikeout for him to start the top of the 7th.
And De Santiago is going to bring it in terms of velo. Monarchs here has got to be ready right there, guessing off speed again and just painting that corner beautifully.
Diego De Santiago out of Maple Woods Community College in Kansas City, Missouri. Originally out of Stockton, California, so pretty far off the West Coast here in St. Joseph. But staying local as far as college ball. Looks like we're getting some talks from the umpires, trying to get some stuff straightened out. Not sure what it is, but wanting to get some talks. Parker Griffith goes off into the dugout.
I think his glove broke maybe. He's going to get new catcher's mitt.
You are right on that, it did. It's tossed the new one from the coaching staff, and here comes Griffith. That's unfortunate to have a glove break in a game, but here we are.
I only ever had that happen to me once. Thankfully, it was in warm-ups, so like,
thank goodness.
Yeah, it wasn't on like a bang play, like bottom of the 7th. You know, bases loaded, had to get the. And it's playing first base, so right through the first baseman's mitt.
That is unfortunate there, but at least it was warm-ups for you. Ball 1 goes to Johan from De Santiago. 1-0 pitch, swung on, fouled straight back. Off the bat of Johan. Johan today 0 for 3. Last at bat came in the 4th. Flew out to right field off an outside fastball. 1-1 from De Santiago. Delivers. Ball chopped on the first base side. Goes foul. De Santiago takes a tumble running towards first base. That'll bring the count back to 1 ball, 2 strikes. On Johan.
You're always a little excited in your first appearance. You know, he's trying to get off the mound, you know. Didn't want to let his team down, you know. Sometimes just trip over your own feet, catching the grass, catch those spikes, you know.
10 out of 10 for the effort. Got to give it to him.
I got to, you know, probably 8 out of the 10 on the stunt. You know, it was a nice roll. You know, he cushioned it. You know, really landed on like his shoulder. You know, didn't like smack his head or anything. So I think Hollywood would be proud.
Hollywood would be proud.
You know, that's the thing. They're adding best stunt, or like to the Oscars. I'm pretty sure they're adding an award for stunts. And
well, I'll be sure to send them this clip of De Santiago.
Send Tom Cruise, the king of stunts, many say.
Right. Well, we got Diego De Santiago. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Johan off speed up high. He gets the count up. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Have you seen the new Mission Impossible movie yet?
I have not.
I'm going Sunday. I'm excited for it. I feel like that's a movie franchise where there are ones better than others, but there's really no bad installment of that franchise.
You know, you really can't go wrong with little Tom Cruise. You know,
definitely, no.
Yeah, you know, I love it. I love it. Johan fouls it off. 2 balls, 2 strikes, still the count. Some may call a comeback here Mission Impossible for either of these teams, but both these pitchers doing a good job limiting that. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Johan. Pitch inside, just misses the paint. We have a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, just another example where the deeper and deeper you get into counts as a hitter, all the pressure goes to the pitcher because now De Santiago, you know, he tried to hit it right there. Now the count's full, so he's got to come to Johan.
Swung on and missed. Strike 3 on the full count. De Santiago. 2 batters, 2 strikeouts here in the top of the 7th for his first appearance in his 2025 campaign, and 2 quick outs for the Tenderloins.
Just a great pitch. Got him with the high heat. Ran away from Johan, who was expecting that pitch to look like down the middle, and it also looked like it was just an at-bat approach that he was swinging no matter what.
First pitch inside to look to Hoske. 1-0. Santiago on 2 outs. Sets and fires to Lahoske. Up high, 2-0. Lahoske was the first to face Max Pitts back in the top of the 5th, lined out to left field. The 2-0 pitch once again up high. And quickly, 3 balls, no strikes to Alex Lahoske.
You want to get Lahoske right here because sitting on deck is Pena, who's had 2 very good at-bats. You just want to bring him up with a clean inning instead of a runner on.
Strike called on the inside. Lahoske was ready to take his trot down to first. And quickly calls that a strike. 3-1 to Santiago. Sets and fires. Up high just a bit, and Lahoske will trot down to first. 2-out walk. Brings up Gilberto Pena for the Kansas City Monarchs. Hit a home run back in the top of the first. The next 2 at-bats lined out to left field and struck out swinging back in the top of the 5th. Like you mentioned, Pena's not a guy you want on with a base runner here for the Tenderloins. Santiago gives a look back to Lahoske. First pitch fouled back off the bat of Pena. 0-1 the count. Righty-righty matchup here for De Santiago. On the cards in favor De Santiago here. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Lahoske on first, time called by Blue. Santiago sets. Lahoske takes off for second base off the glove and goes behind Griffith. Lahoske takes a wide turn off of second base, but ends up on second base.
A great jump from Lahoske. De Santiago, not a great job holding him on there at first. It's always one of those things, you know, sometimes the stolen base is on the fielder, but that was just on the pitcher right there. I mean, sometimes that guy, you get in a groove, especially out of the stretch, just consistently, you get in a groove, and guys are able to time you up from the dugout. Then when they get on base, they just time you up again. He was lucky that he threw it so hard it bounced quickly back to Griffith, or
Yeah.
Lahoske may have taken third.
If it could have gone a little bit to the right there, it could have been bad news for the Tenderloins, but Lahoske on second. Two balls, 2 strikes. And 2 outs here for the Tenderloins here in the top of the 7th. 2-2 pitch. Outside, full count at 3-2 to Pena. Santiago in a tough spot here. Darryl Graham on deck here for the Monarchs. 0 for 3 in his night. De Santiago sets, fires, ball fouled off straight behind by Pena, keeping this at-bat alive. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs to Gilberto Pena. De Santiago fires. Swung on and missed. 3 strikeouts for Diego De Santiago. And they leave a Monarch stranded at second. No runs, no hits, 1 walk for De Santiago. But we're still tied at 5 here. Going into the bottom of the 7th, you're watching Tenderloin Baseball here on YouTube.
For the 7th
Welcome back in to Phil Welch Stadium, the bottom of the 7th, still tied at 5. Jaden Little leads us off in the bottom of the 7th. Little popped up to first base side. His last at bat and singled back in the first. 1-1 to Little. D'Amico still throwing out on the mound after his 12 straight batters that he has retired from the Tenderloins, as Little fouls that one off, bringing the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes. D'Amico sets and fires. Off speed, Little's going to put a pop fly to first base side. That's going to be trickling into right field. Nice! And it looks like not a catch. It fell on the ground, so it'll remain a foul ball, but a good effort nonetheless by Messerschmidt.
A tough play for Messerschmidt over there by the tarp. Just overran it a little bit, had to reach back, and unfortunately couldn't bring it in.
That's tough. Looking up in the lights there, that's just a tough play going back. Willie Mays style almost. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Little. Off speed, goes down looking. Strike 3 called. And 13 straight batters retired by D'Amico in the first out here in the bottom of the 7th.
Just another one right there. Wasn't necessarily looking for it. Just got that front door breaking ball, as they say, froze him. And again, D'Amico just continues to mow down hitters, and this Tenderloin batter is yet to just step up, really ambush something.
Miller puts a sharp ground ball, bad hop, fielded cleanly by Lahoske, in time at first for the second out of the inning, but a nice piece there by Miller, just couldn't get enough of it up the middle. Bounce over to Lahoske, and 2 quick outs, 14 straight batters retired by D'Amico, bringing up Trevor McCollum. McCollum's first at bat here in this game after subbing out Gall. Off speed, strike 1 from D'Amico. McCollum takes strike 2 inside, 0-2 quickly with 2 outs. McCollum from Overland Park, Kansas, and Washburn University in Topeka, Kansas. D'Amico's next pitch up high, taken ball 1, 1 ball, 2 strikes to McCollum. McCollum 0 for 2 in his first game 2 nights ago. D'Amico fires. Swung on, a sharp liner up the middle for a 2-out single for Trevor McCollum. And 14 batters later, and the Tenderloins get their first hit after 14 straight retired batters.
That's what you like to see, especially a guy coming off the bench. Defensive substitution earlier for Frank Gall, but down with an injury, but coming up right there, and again, hadn't even seen D'Amico yet. Gets down 1-2, but stays within himself, stays through it, right back up the middle.
Jack Mosh up to bat next for the Tenderloins. 0 for 3 on his night, went down swinging. His last time up back in the 5th.
And that's the first time we're seeing D'Amico out of the stretch in a long while, and again, it's just one of the things, get someone out of their rhythm, try to break it up.
Mosh puts a swing into left field as McCollum went swinging and flies out to left to Dyberg, and that will take us to the end of the 7th inning. 1 hit, no runs for the Tenderloins, but improvement is improvement. We are still tied at 5 going into the 8th inning. You're watching Tenderloin Baseball here on YouTube. Welcome back to Phil Welch for more Tenderloin baseball. We have reached the top of the 8th inning here, still tied at 5 runs apiece in Truman. What a conservative game this has been. Not much aggressiveness, a pitching matchup, both sides. So aggressive on those both pitching matchups.
Yeah, and Gage Busby now into the game, so just another pitcher that's just going to come in, try to preserve this lead. First year with the Mustangs at college this spring, 1.59 ERA in 8 innings, but really just going to keep the Monarchs where they at. Just continue to learn what the other 2 bullpen arms have come out of the pen already, and Max Pitts and Diego de Santiago. Just throw strikes, weak contact, keep this game right where it is.
Trusting that defense. Gage Busby, 2-0, gets a strike on Darryl Graham. 2 balls, 1 strike to Graham. Gage Busby, first appearance for the Tenderloins. 2-1 goes up high. 3 balls, 1 strike to Graham, and an early base runner not in the cards for the Tenderloins here to start out the 8th inning of play. Busby on 3-1. Outside gets the strike called. Count evens at 3 balls and 2 strikes to Darryl Graham, who's going to have to go in protect mode if he sees something that could be close from Busby. The 3-2 pitch. Outside just enough for ball 4, and that'll walk Darryl Graham. And Will Dyberg comes up to the plate with a runner on first.
That's always something, famous Royals broadcaster Denny Matthews always says, leadoff walks and late innings of close games, don't do them. Don't do them. And they always seem to come back to bite you. And it's just one of those things. Now you get a pinch run in the game, but again, you can just, at this point in the game where both teams are playing for 1 run. Both teams are playing for 1 run because, later and later, both teams are playing for 1 run, and now really the pressure's on Busby. The pressure's on this defense. They might try a little small ball, a little hit and run, just something to really create some chaos.
Creating chaos is the one thing that you need here for the Monarchs, and they're doing just that, a pinch runner on for the Monarchs. Busby to Dyberg, inside, strike 1 called. A big first strike. Some people would say, Truman, when you give a walk like that, getting that first strike gives you that good upper hand, especially with no outs.
Definitely, just again, getting across with strike 1, just not pitching from behind and being able to pitch to your strengths and not to the batters.
Busby puts one up near Dyberg's head, just gets out of the way. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1 pitch. Dyberg goes past Griffith. And that'll scooch on over to second base.
It's an unfortunate play right there, Griffith. I think might have got caught looking towards the pinch runner O'Brien at first. Just couldn't get a glove on it. Again, just little mental mistakes like that that'll unfortunately might come back to bite the Tenderloins here tonight.
Bunt shown off the bat will go foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Dyberg. O'Brien on second on the pass ball. No outs, runner in scoring position. Busby trying to stay controlled here against Dyberg, trying to get nice 1 out here. Busby 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fires. Swung on in the dirt, misses. Griffith throws down to first. Big first out, keeps O'Brien at second. And a nice strikeout from Gage Busby.
That's the way to respond by Busby. I mean, you have the pass ball, you had the leadoff walk, but then just getting the strikeout. But then also a great play by Griffith. He looks O'Brien back to second a little bit, sets his feet, and then makes the throw. He doesn't immediately just throw it to first and allow O'Brien to get the free 90 feet.
Next up to bat, Kyle Ford for the Monarchs. Busby swung on first base side, taken in by George, and he'll take it to the bag for the second out. But O'Brien does advance over to third base. But a big second out there from Busby.
Another great pitch from Busby. Real maturity out there on the mound. You know, didn't panic. Settled in, induced the weak contact. And now again, he's got 2 outs. Pressure's now more on the hitter to come through with 2 outs after the Monarchs had a runner in scoring position with nobody out.
Like you mentioned, no one out to second, now to 2 outs on third. Busby fires. Misses. (1-0) now. Off the broken bat. Messerschmidt. He's going to have to run back and get that new bat figured out. Messerschmidt last time up struck out swinging back in the top of the 6th. My fault, that is Ty White batting. Messerschmidt on deck, my partner Truman keeping me in check tonight. Ty White up to bat. Looking at the wrong spot. Last time, flew out to right field. 1-1. Now to Ty White, Gage Busby trying to get himself out of the jam. Busby fires. Down low, and it's going to be called for strike 2. Late call by the Blue, but now 1-2 to Ty White. Pressure now on White. Busby just trying to go back to the fundamentals here. Get that ball over the plate. Trust that defense a little bit. Busby fires. Ball chopped over to Mosh. That's second. Fires over to first. In time! He's out, and that saves the run from scoring. And a nice play from Mosh. Keeps this game tied at 5, and Busby escapes here in the top of the 8th. But we're headed to the bottom of the 8th, and it's time for the Tenderloins to get stuff going. We'll have that coming up here. You're watching Tenderloins baseball here on YouTube. Welcome back into Phil Welch Stadium, announcing the lottery ticket number here for the 50-50 raffle, but leading it off here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Braden Likert for the Tenderloins struck out swinging last time he was up in the bottom of the 5th inning. Grounded out to second in the 2nd and grounded to short. Back in the 1st, and Likert, big spot here for the Tenderloins at the bottom of the 8th, the inning before you go and pitch to close it out. It's a big spot here for these Tenderloin hitters. You get in that top middle half of the lineup, this is where you want to be.
Yeah, top of the lineup especially, but again, just trying to get anything going. I mean, 1 hit since the 3rd inning triple by Dom Felix. D'Amico's been really rolling, and I mean, he's made 5 starts this year. 4 of them he's gone the distance, so he's not really coming out anytime soon. But you would think he would at least be starting to, run out of gas a little bit, and that's why the Tenderloins just got to jump on something. Just one person. I mean, whether it's just a single, maybe lay down a bunt, just trying anything really.
First pitch with a strike outside, ball 1 on the second pitch. And you're right. I mean, anything to you, just go ahead and take it. You know, what's the worst that can happen? I mean, D'Amico's been firing on all cylinders, and it's time that you need to start taking some chances. As ball 2 gets thrown to Likert. 2-1 now the count. D'Amico fires up high for ball 3.
Tenderloins will also take a much-needed leadoff walk in a late inning of a close game.
Hugely, D'Amico fires up high and inside, and that'll walk Braden Likert to first base, like you just mentioned, Truman. Much needed. They'll take anything at this point. I mean, a single last inning they were up hitting, and they'll take something with no outs here now with Dom Felix to get into that middle power side of the lineup. It's time for these bats to start waking up. And hopes for a run here going into the 9th. First pitch off the plate for ball 1 to Dom Felix. Felix popped up to shortstop near that center field side last time he was up, but tripled back in the 3rd. D'Amico fires upstairs, but gets called a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Dom Felix.
Wouldn't be surprised if Likert here maybe takes off. Again, we haven't really seen much usage of the running the bases that we saw on Wednesday.
We have not. Likert was taking a big lead there, an extra step. Looking to try and see here D'Amico's, see what his form of pitching is, seeing if you can get that down. D'Amico goes back over to Likert, in back in time. Nothing doing. Count still remains 2 balls and 1 strike to Dom Felix. Likert getting a nice, healthy lead. Pitch over to Felix is upstairs. 3 ball, 1 strike to Felix, and back-to-back walks here, Truman. Another big thing in the cards for the Tenderloins here to start the bottom of the 8th.
Again, all they need is 1 to take the lead. They'll take it any way they can.
As D'Amico gets a big strike there. Count is full, 3 balls, 2 strikes to Dom Felix.
Interesting to see if Likert gets put in motion, maybe a little hit and run. Just, again, something to just...
Ball goes past Messerschmidt, and Likert's going to advance 90 feet over to second base. Exactly what the Tenderloins needed was just something to happen. If he was their side or the Monarch side, and a costly error by D'Amico to Messerschmidt. Felix now with a runner in scoring position. 3 balls, 2 strikes, no outs on Steve D'Amico. Likert at second. The delivery hits Dom Felix in the shoulder, and he wears it like a champ. And now, back-to-back runners to first base for the Tenderloins. And that'll bring up Justin George with a chance for an RBI with a runner in scoring position with no outs here in the bottom of the 8th.
Free passes really hurt the Tenderloins back in that 4th inning when the Monarchs scored 4 runs. And now right here in the 8th, D'Amico's laboring. He walks a guy, now he hits a guy. And how much longer does he have?
Looks like that coach is talking, and it looks like they do have someone in the pen out in left center field. We're going to give the binoculars to our handyman Truman over here, seeing if he can try and get a number out there from the pen. Looks like it was just a checkup on D'Amico. They're going to keep him out there, but someone is out in that pen warming up for the Monarchs. And you know, Truman, like you were saying, how much longer are they going to trust D'Amico now with no outs, a runner on second and first? George up to bat, and this at-bat is really going to tell the tale of how long they're going to want to trust D'Amico out here in the bottom of the 8th. D'Amico to George. Off speed upstairs, ball one. George last time up, grounded out to short. Down low, taking strike one. 1 ball, 1 strikes to Justin George.
George doesn't need to do anything too big right here. I mean, Monarchs are playing for the bunt, but just something to that right side. At least get one of the runners into scoring position.
George fouls it off on the first base side, goes out of play quickly. 1 ball, 2 strikes. D'Amico, a much needed out here on George. Would be crucial for the Tenderloins, but D'Amico looking for anything on his side. Justin George down 1 ball, 2 strikes. D'Amico fires, swung on and missed. Strike 3, tipped back into the catcher's glove, and a much needed strikeout for Steve D'Amico, and 1 out for the Monarchs.
That's just a tough at-bat right there by George. I'm a little surprised they maybe didn't try to lay down the bunt.
Yeah,
I get it. You know, it's summer ball. It's not maybe the flashiest thing to do, but you're trying to win this game. I mean, first and second 1 out, I feel like is way different than second and third and 1 out, where then the infield would probably be drawn in, and anything the outfield would score.
Chris Coy takes a big hack on his first pitch, goes down 0-1 here with 1 out on D'Amico. Still a runner, like you mentioned, on second and first for the Tenderloins. Another pitch, and Coy gets a good piece of it. That ball's gonna fall in left field, and the bases are gonna be loaded off the Chris Coy single to left field. Bases loaded, 1 out. And Mr. Bearcat himself, Parker Griffith, comes to a big plate appearance. They're giving looks. Gonna go talk to D'Amico, seeing how long they really want to keep him here. I mean, right now, Truman, out for the Mustangs, you're probably warming up your closer. Right now with 1 out, you're thinking you're gonna get a run home. You're gonna want to go into this 9th inning with at least a 1-run lead.
I mean, the hope is right here, just anything but the inning double play ball. No infield pop-ups, no strikeouts, no hard hit grounders right at somebody. And I mean, great job by Dryberg on that last line drive. I mean, he kind of gave a little bit of a deke, and Leichhardt had to hesitate a little bit. He wasn't going full force.
Griffith puts a big swing, pops it out, a play on the first base side. 0 ball, 1 strike. Bases loaded for the Tenderloins here. No balls, 1 strike to Parker Griffith. The pitch from D'Amico. Ball swung on into center field. That ball should be deep enough to drive home. Leichhardt brings in the catch. All runners move 90 feet. Coy's safe, Leichhardt's safe. And moving over to third base is Felix. And the Tenderloins have the lead back after the sacrifice fly from Parker Griffith.
Again, unselfish at-bat by Griffith, doing anything for the team and just lifting a high fly to center. Little risky by Coy tagging from first, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Because if that throw had been online and they'd been able to tag out Coy, Leichhardt was just jogging home, so he wouldn't have crossed the plate in time. So, I mean, again, risk pays off. Now try to get some insurance right here.
Jaden Little, that insurance you're talking about, has 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs. Oh, 1 to Little. D'Amico fires. Off speed, cuts just inside. Quickly, no balls, 2 strikes to Jaden Little. D'Amico just trying to hold this lead at 1 run for his team going into the 9th. D'Amico sets and fires to Little. Little's going to foul the ball out of play just behind him, keeping this at-bat alive. D'Amico trying to get out of a jam with just one run given. Little trying to give some cushion to the Tenderloins going to the ninth. No balls, 2 strikes, the delivery. Outside just a bit. 1-2 now to Little. D'Amico sets and fires to Little. Ball swung on. High fly ball into right field. White looks like he's got it, and he does for the 3rd out. But the Tenderloins are able to squeak by with a run off a sacrifice fly by Parker Griffith. We're headed to the 9th inning of play, looking to close out for another Tenderloin victory. We'll have that. You're watching Tenderloin Baseball here on YouTube. Welcome back into Phil Welch Stadium, and the 9th inning is upon us, and now pitching Lane Chapman trying to get a save here in this game. His recent stats, posting a 7.82 ERA off of 12.2 innings pitched. Lane Chapman, first appearance here in 2025, looking to get the job done here for the Tenderloins. Here in the top of the 9th, Cam Messerschmidt will meet him first. Chapman to Messerschmidt, sets and fires. Outside, taken for ball 1.
And Chapman's got to protect this 1-run lead, but again, much like his pitchers before him, just throw strikes and do sweet contact. Don't try to get too cute.
Gets that strike on that outside half of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike to Messerschmidt. Chapman sets and fires. Inside, taken ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. The 2-1 delivery, ball swung on, is going to be dribbled back to Chapman, fields it cleanly in time at first over to Justin George. And a nice first out here in the 9th inning for the Tenderloins.
That's what he needs to do right there. 2 outs away now, but again, just induce that weak contact, stick to the outer parts of the plate, stay away from those barrels.
Nice job keeping it inside. Messerschmidt just couldn't get his hands around it in time. Drew Thorson up to bat next for the Monarchs. Had that grand slam that tied the game back at 5 in the top of the 4th inning. So, man, Chapman could get retired here would be huge. What a big first out that was, retiring Messerschmidt. Chapman to Thorson. outside, strike one called. The 0-1 pitch to Thorson. Upstairs, taken for ball one. Count even at 1-1. Chapman sets. The 1-1 pitch. Inside, taken for ball two. 2-1 now to Thorson. Morgan Johan on deck for the Monarchs. Struck out swinging. Back in the 7th. The 2-1 pitch. Off speed, catches the upper hand. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Drew Thorson. Thorson struck out swinging back in the 7th. Looking to do the same here for Chapman. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Chapman fires. Ball popped up on that third base side. Felix giving chase, and that'll hit the top of the away dugout. And it will remain 2 balls, 2 strikes on Thorson.
And all the funds from the recycle goes to the adaptive sports. So appreciate it. We take their bottles and cans and deposit them in the receptacle on the way out.
Chapman, 2 balls, 2 strikes to Thorson. Sets and fires. Nice pitch, just misses. Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Chapman with 1 out to work with. The 3-2 pitch. Outside, and Thorson's gonna take his trot to first after a 1-out walk given up by Chapman, and that brings Morgan Johan to the plate.
And the walks are, well, you'll be hurt by Chapman. And now the lineup flips over. And just stay within himself, work the outer parts of the plate, use that fastball to the off speed. Don't overcomplicate things.
Exactly. Can't overcomplicate it, like you said, Truman. And a good ratio right here would help, especially with a guy like Johan. 0 for 4 tonight. Like I said, struck out back in the 7th. Put contact on all his other 3. Grounded out to short the first 2 times and then popped out to right field. Back in the 4th, and we have a pinch runner coming on for the Monarchs. That'll be Jake Slocum taking over for Drew Thorson. Morgan Johan facing Chapman here. Sets and fires. Swung on and fouled off quickly. 0-1 to Johan with 1 out. Chapman 0-1 to Johan. Swung on and missed. A big swing. Just whiffed it by him. Nice off speed there by Chapman. 0-2 now. To Morgan Johan. The 0-2 pitch. Ball fouled off sharply over to the first base side near that home dugout. Little fan area, but count remains 0-2.
It's where Chapman, you know, just can't overcomplicate things. Like I said earlier in this inning, just gotta, you know, it's the more the hitter fouls it off, it really gets in the pitcher's head. He's just gotta stay composed, don't let it affect him so much, and just make a good pitch.
Once again fouled off by Johan. Like you said, just make those good pitches, you know. You don't need anything too fancy right now. You just need to put that ball in play at worst and trust that defense just a little bit. They've done a good job. The Tenderloins have this whole game. Still 0-2 to Johan. 1 out. Chapman delivers the 0-2 pitch. Inside, keeps the bat inside the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The 1-2 pitch. Fouled off once again by Johan, doing a good job. A nice at-bat here, even though down in the count the whole time. He's doing a good job keeping himself back up there in the batter's circle every time. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Morgan Johan. The 1-2 pitch from Chapman. Down the middle, and it looks like it just missed on the outside part. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He wanted that one right at the knees in the outside corner, but didn't get the call. That's a tough pitch, Fees. That's a good pitch.
It was a really good pitch. It looked from up here on our angle that it did clip that outside enough. But the 2-2 pitch from Chapman. Inside just curves. That slider looks like it just went outside a little bit. Inside a little bit. Count is full at 3 balls, 2 strikes to Morgan Johan. Worked his way from 0-2 all the way to 3-2. An impressive at-bat on his end. Here on Chapman. The 3-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. And Chapman, a much-needed strikeout there, gives it 2 outs to the Tenderloins here in the 9th inning. And people start to get on their feet. As Alex Lahaske comes up to the plate. Lefty-lefty matchup here for the Tenderloins. Chapman sets, fires. Good pitch over the middle for strike 1 on Lahaske. Jake Slocum still on first for the Monarchs. Ball swung on to the shortstop side, taken in by Coy, goes to second in time, and your St. Joseph Tenderloins take their 2nd game of the season and are 2-0 to start. They win this one 6-5 off an impressive save from Mr. Lane Chapman.
Gutsy win. Again, still early in the season, but you know, for much of this game, the Tenderloins did not look like how they looked on Wednesday night, but then they just battled down. I mean, 5 shutout innings from the bullpen. You really got to give them credit. What a job between the combination of Max Pitts, Diego De Santiago, Gage Busby, and then Lane Chapman getting the save. None of these guys wavered, and then they just waited the offense. They were just able to scratch across a run. I mean, that is the definition of a gutsy win. You may not play your best baseball every night, Jackson, but sometimes good teams just find a way to win. And I know we're only 2 games in, and I'm saying the Mustangs are a good team. But again, like the contrast in wins they've had. Wednesday night blowout win, you can really just like slack off towards the end of the game. But then tonight, it's like you jump out to an early lead. You settle a little bit, then you get punched in the mouth right back on a grand slam.
Yeah.
And now you're basically have to scramble back. But again, the bullpen did its job, locked it down, and then Parker Griffith, right guy, right time, came through with a clutch RBI sac fly in the bottom of the 8th.
The best teams, like you said, know how to get it done in the best ways. You know, that grand slam really put this whole entire environment into a standstill almost. Didn't really expect that from happening there back in the 4th inning off the bat of Drew Thorson, but the Mustangs were able, the pitching was phenomenal throughout that time, keeping the lead tied up at 5 apiece, and were able with Parker Griffith. We were talking about it. The whole play tonight with this Tenderloins team was the most, just, you know, they were not selfish one bit. You know, they knew the moments that they had to score runs, and they did it in the best ways. And our player of the game tonight down on the field is going to be Parker Griffith after he went 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs in that game-winning sac fly we're just talking about. Very unselfish play here by the Tenderloins tonight, Truman, and that's a reason why they played so well, is that they trusted each other the whole way through. They trusted the pitching staff. The pitching staff trusted the offense. Even though they weren't getting stuff going, they knew that if they kept that game tied, that the offense at some point would find a way to get a run home. And with the bases loaded, Parker Griffith did just that with 1 out into center field. And just an impressive win overall.
And so far through 2 games, I mean, if you had to crowning strength of this team going forward, I really think it's going to be the pitching staff, because so far we've seen just about everybody out of that bullpen. And a lot of those bullpen guys, I mean, they only get 1 inning, but they've been good innings, dominant innings. I mean, Sam Pitts gives up 5 runs tonight, but really for him it was just the long ball bit him a little bit. He had the solo, gave up the solo homer in the first, and then in that 4th inning it was just, again, those free passes. 2 walks and a hit by pitch led to the grand slam. And again, like any good pitcher, he'll learn from it. He understands that, you know, those free passes might come back to hurt you, and it's, again, avoiding those. You can deal with allowing hits here and there, maybe a hit in the gap. That's easier, but when you're just constantly walking guys or hitting guys, it's really hard to just get back in the zone. And it's when you can get hitters off balance. Again, maybe it's giving up hits, but just getting hitters off balance is where you can find a lot of success.
100%, a nice win here, 6-5. Tomorrow, the first Mink League matchup against the Nevada Griffins out of Nevada, Missouri, and Truman. These first 2 wins have given them a little bit of everything to see from 2 different teams, but, you know, coming off this Mink League this season, it's going to be tough. I mean, we've seen 2 different teams come in tonight with the last 2 nights that they have had games. I mean, we've seen 2 different teams with different, you know, tendencies, with different types of players, different types of pitches. I mean, going into tomorrow, the Mink League starts tomorrow. What do you think these Mustangs/Tenderloins can take away from these first 2 games going into the bulk of the Mink League season?
Like I said, I think they can ride their pitching, and that'll be something. But also hitting, it's just coming through when you need to. And something that they started early in this game, but then I feel like they fell off, was just really ambushing. They let D'Amico control the pace, and that's just one of the things. If you can control it as the hitter, you really get in that pitcher's head. But also with the Mink League, I mean, the Nevada Griffins, it's a team they've dominated very thoroughly in the past, but it's a team you can't take lightly.
That's right.
Nevada's gonna come in here knowing that St. Joseph is the team to beat in the Mink League, and you know, it's a team you can't take lightly, and they're gonna have to come out playing their best game. Like I said, you've seen a lot of the pitching, so guys are gonna, you know, feel what it likes to pitch on the mound, you know. But it'll be another exciting game. Mink League opener, it always is. It's you know, it's another kind of special event. You know, it's like your start of your Mink League titled events, and it's games you necessarily can't afford to lose, especially in terms of standings. When we get towards postseason play, the more Mink League games you can win, the better your record, the better postseason seeding you'll hopefully get.
Well said, Truman. Well, a nice victory tonight, 6-5 for your St. Joseph Tenderloins. Tomorrow night opens up the Mink League against the Nevada Griffins, and we'll be right here with that for you guys. We will see you guys tomorrow night. Again, your Tenderloins win 6-5. Thank you guys, everyone, for tuning in. I've been